Hey, what is up guys, Massive here, back to do another video, and I know it's been a long time since I've last posted a video. That's because I've been extremely hard at work at fixing several crashes that have occurred in this game. Now, the crashes that I fixed have been affecting this game since 2008, the most notable being when you capture engineers. If an engineer spawns from a barracks whilst you're capturing with another engineer, a husk, the game will crash consistently every time in vanilla. In fact, it doesn't matter what patch, mod, if you play Tybrim Wars or Kane, it does not matter. The game crashes under all circumstances. Not only that, but the Hammerheads and Behemoths had a similar crash that has been fixed, so you can expect to see a lot less crashes occur online. In fact, there's only one known crash that I am aware of that's left. That has to do with MCVs and engineers, but for the most part, crashes are going to be almost extinct at this point. I'm also happy to report that the skirmish AI shouldn't really desync anymore if you play R20 online. And I'm going to post down below in the video description the differences, the code that was required to achieve this. Indeed, if we had the source code, it would only take 5 minutes to change an if statement, but as you can see from the source of this mod, the script, the Lua script, the XML, the research it took, the hours I invested into this, I'm not sure if it was worth it or not. The ROI pretty low, I understand from my point of view, but in the long term, maybe it's going to be worth it for Kane's Wrath to not have any of these crashes anymore. So I'm pleased to say that that is no longer an issue. To get it looking normal without any abnormalities was pretty difficult. I had to discover several aspects of the game that have yet to be discovered, solutions to problems that did not have solutions until that point. And I know now a lot more about the engine, what its limitations are, and some workarounds that are possible with it. Anyway, that just happened. There is a buffed oil depot on this map, which deals more damage. As you see, the explosion there took out 3 raider buggies. It deals the same damage as a TFA bomb. Senna was unaware of this, despite him losing the exact same way to that oil depot in the past. He somehow forgot about it in this particular game. Maybe he was drunk or something, I don't know. I do have an additional engineer. This was sort of a mistake. I queued 4 engineers by accident. You may be confused earlier looking at a 4th engineer, wondering, hey Leaf, why have you got 4 engineers? Harvester just about narrowly... That engineer narrowly escaped death there from that harvester. I'm going to force him to sell the refinery, which is better than him noticing it and placing down a shredder turret. Of course, there's a half a second delay before that. Shredder turret will kill the engineer, so he was forced to sell it there. There was no other way unless he had a operation center to cast that laser fencing. I'm going to Reaper 17 in this game. My opponent Senate will be playing as the Martyr Kane. This is tournament creator. Queuing Seekers, I'm going to attack him with those Seekers. I've got the EMP almost ready to fire, so my plan here is to combo the EMP with the Stasis Shield. After this tier 2, I'm going to queue a barracks, I think. I think I queued a portal to push him, but I may have gone for the second war factory before the portal. Upon watching this back, the portal would have made more sense, but 5 Seekers isn't really enough to win me the game just yet. I'm upgrading attenuated force fields, which is going to give these Seekers a little bit more endurance. They're going to be able to survive the Scorpion tanks a bit better, and that's until they themselves get the Dozer Blade upgrade. And of course, an honorary mention goes to Defrisa for subbing to me on Twitch. I really do appreciate the support on Twitch. You can catch me on there. I do stream regularly. As of late, though, I haven't. I've, as mentioned, spent about 20 odd days, much of my holiday, on fixing the crashes in this game. To which I can say I've succeeded, but it was a grind, it was torture, if I'm honest. But back to this game here, I'm going to degarrison this building. I've got this corruptor, which is going to help me heal these units up if I don't want to use the $1,500 support power to spawn in those reconstruction drones. Which is what I'm going to do here. I've got that attenuated force field upgrade, which is going to take about a minute and a half to come back on those Seekers, the ones that have lost the support power. I'm going to put a missed opportunity there. I could have gotten both of the obelisks, but a second avatar comes in. I wasn't expecting such a heavy resistance here from Sen. He's got 2 avatars and 2 obelisks. This attack is going nowhere. I'm wasting a lot of my forces here. And only now I'm beginning to work on my 4th refinery, since he did click the 4th one that I built. Or I believe he did. More Seekers coming out. That's about the best thing I can build without a tech center. As Reaper 17, though, your options later on are pretty limited. What I should consider floating this many resources is a couple growth stimulators. I've already got one on my main. That's going to give me some passive resources over time. The mock player is on tier 3. I'm in a bit of a dire predicament at this point. Going to catch some of these Scorpion tanks. They're a bit stranded. There's an avatar back there. The Seekers can overwhelm this. Radar jamming missile. Sender loves to spam that. And clean up the remainder of those Scorpions. I'm not being harassed yet by stealth tanks, but I doubt stealth tanks on the top of his mind, considering that I have an army of Seeker tanks, and those are in plenty numbers at this point. Instead of upgrading shards, I do think these Seekers are going to survive long enough to get the shard upgrade, and besides, he's got avatars now and he's building up a force of them, so to contend with that, I'm going to instead go for tripods. I'm upgrading the shields, which is at a discounted price for the Reaper 17 faction. It only takes also a minute to upgrade, so $2,000 upgrade for Reaper, which is quite a bargain. It is double that for Skrin, but they do enjoy that additional health on their warships and planetary assault carriers, which I will have a game upcoming showcasing the strength of that unit composition. So if you guys want to see more Skrin Armada in particular, then yeah, stay tuned to my channel, subscribe to me on YouTube to stay notified of my uploads, since I'm going to be posting more videos. So I've only got 2 tripods out here. 2 more will be coming out soon. That force field, that ever so important force field upgrade is going to be coming online, which is so important against Reaper, since Mark to Kane, since they can EMP you. So being able to withstand 1 EMP is a huge deal. Couple of Awakened squads coming out here. I'm getting repairs nearby to this war factory, and Lightning moving in. I've got no shard walkers though to contend with this army. What I can do is phase one of my tripods and attempt to crush, but with those tip troopers there also to slow me down, it's going to be very difficult. And we'll soon get to see the newly re-implemented husk mechanic. Those avatars are falling, they're going to be dropping husks. More of those units are dying. There's an engineer waiting patiently as MC3 and Senna's on this bridge. I see an opportunity here to target this bridge. There's a chance the Redeemer will be dying to this, since it's on the bridge segment, which does die. I couldn't believe what just happened. There's the Redeemer and a bunch of avatars all dying there on the bridge. Huge blunder there by Senna. He's also soon going to have his MCV captured by this assimilator, and I got that as well. So not only did I destroy Senna's army, but in one fell swoop, I took out his army and MCV. He no longer has production unless he has a secondary MC, which is always the case. There's a Marta Kane fast leg engineer, which I just caught in time. He was about to take back his construction yard. I got the $1,750 for that. And now I'm in a pretty good position. Now, he did clean up most of the husks, so I'm not going to have as big as an army as I would have liked. But yeah, that was a nice win for me, considering the start of this game. I am back in it for sure now. So I'm going to be queuing more of these units. I'm also queuing another refinery for my expansion. That growth stimulators allowed me to regrow a lot of that main tip field, so I'm going to send harvesters there to harvest that. I'm going to take that avatar soon, and you guys won't be able to tell the difference when capturing husks. It looks identical, but it in no way, shape or form works the same way. This relies entirely on lure and a lot of tricks and techniques. So you can see there, that's how smooth it is. It's practically the same. 2 more avatars fall there. So I'm taking good trades. Good trade after good trade. I'm going to purchase the blue shard upgrade now, which is important because I'm going to go for Eradicator Hexpod, which I want to be filling up with Ravager squads. As Reaper 17, you get blue shards on your Hexapod as well, which increases the damage by, I believe, about 60-odd%. It's quite a significant increase, but Rav segments previously weren't ever considered, so this is okay. I don't think it's possible for epic unit garrisons to be OP unless you buff them beyond what the DPS of a zone raider garrison is. But it just opens up more options, more potential. So this is the demonstration of the crash fix there. If you were to attempt what I just did there to capture that husk, without R23F, the game would crash immediately. I'm going to reclaim another husk, and I thought there's a good opening here for me to engage since I took out a further 2 avatars. It's unlikely he has anything to contend with this, especially now since I have the stasis shield, which I can use on his remaining forces. And he's actually got a lot of EMP. Those EMPs are locking me down. I've got a fully established expansion. I'm regrowing my 2nd field. And he's holding on by a thread. Those obelisks are doing a lot of work there. Both of them are on really low health. I brought an assimilator along to the right as well. I'm going to use that to reclaim that husk. When EMP gets landed there, the Shardwalkers are doing what they can against those Enlightened squads. He's losing Enlightened, but the cost was a bit high for me there since I was forced to use the stasis shield support power as well as the phase. Well, I didn't quite use the phase, no, but I could have used it there. That would have been a better idea than just letting these forces die. Enlightened dying there to those Shardwalkers. I'm finally building up a nice amount of anti-infantry because the EMPs are really severe. Hexpod will be coming out soon. I need that to bolster the front line since he's also inflicted the same devastating loss on me with that defense. So yeah, good defense from Senna using that stealth to his advantage. I was unaware of what I was pushing into. It would have been better to send in a couple Seeker tanks first, but I assumed that I had an opening since I won a big engagement, but Senna did hold. He has no expansion. I've finished cleaning up this field. I've got 3 growth stimulators, 1 on each of these fields. He did recently take back my he took over my Tybrim spike, so he's going to have a 3 spike lead over just the 1 spike of mine. So that somewhat offsets the growth stimulator a disadvantage that he has now, but I have almost a full field at my disposal to harvest again. That one has lost its growth stimulator, but there's still a lot of Tybrim there. If I can gather these resources and build up another 10 or so tripods, there's not much the mock player can do to stop me, especially with this EMP. So there's the growth stimulator. I'm using all of Reaper 17's tools and tricks to help me win this game. Eradicator gets locked down in EMP. He'll want to do that since it's going to be generating funds for me. That's a lot of EMP squads from Senna. I've got a nice sum of forces there. Tripods in the back. This Redeemer's going to be hard to take out. I need to get a good EMP. I'm looking at this army here. This Rage Gen needs to fire off for me to have any hope of engaging with these tripods, but that's a lot of EMP. I may be forced here to use the phase on this Eradicator. I decided instead to use the EMP, lock down a chunk of that DPS with those Corruptors in the back healing me. I doubt I'll lose this Eradicator Hexapod, and now this Hex is going to come back online. It's taking a lot of damage there. I felt like I had to phase since the DPS is getting too high for me. So he did force out the phase. I'm going to have not really many support powers left to help me in this game. I am getting a lot of resources, so what I could do at this point is build another warp sphere and start queuing more tripods. But I'm trying to deal with the Enlightened. The EMP has been massive from him. Redeemer fires off another ray. She's going to prevent me from EMPing that Redeemer, and the Hex is getting healed up in the back there. It's still really what's holding the line against these forces. I'm hoping these buzzer hives can kill the Enlightened squads that he has, but he's brought along tip troopers once again, which are killing the buzzers that spawn out of those hives. I'm blocking these hives. I've got tripods in the back there. Tripod has the conversion reserve, so it's going to have a lot of shots to fire with that green conversion beam. And those blue shards from the Hex firing on those Enlightened, doing what it can to hold the line here. There's an obelisk back there to push me back. I'm floating a lot of resources. I've still got my tier 3, so I can build another warp sphere to build more units. But with this EMP locking down my Hexapod, it's going to be hard to get back online. The Eradicator force, the DPS is just too massive now with those obelisks and avatars. He's been able to recover a lot of those avatars, and the Redeemer was really what broke into this base for Senna. I was definitely not expecting him to come back in this game, especially after that brutal bridge collapse where his Redeemer fell. But yeah, that just goes to show, like in Kane's Wrath, there's always the option for you to come back, and then your opponent can Uno reverse and do the same thing to you. And that's exactly what this game was all about. I felt like multiple things happened in this game which made it pretty unique and stand out. A couple tripods left to hold the line, but it's just not enough now since he's got Enlightened, and those really did work in that game, severely crippling my ground force. What I could have done in the engagement was just phase and save those tripods in the earlier fight, but I was a bit overconfident, as he was when he attacked me. So the moral of the story is, don't be overconfident, scout your opponent before engaging, and then don't make those silly mistakes. If anything, I probably could have just sat in my base and built a Rift super weapon. That would have forced him to come to me rather than him engage, well, him camping and taking advantage of that obelisk defense he had. So yeah, this is it from me, guys. Hope you all enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed the patch and you don't get any crashing issues. You shouldn't anymore. And as mentioned before, you can check down below the difference between R20 C and F, which is practically everything that had to do with fixing the husk. I'm going to leave that down below. So hope you enjoyed this, guys, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.